Good. Nope. Share screen. All right. See that? Amazing.
Yeah.
Baruch Hashem. I just heard over Shabbos one of the great Gedolei Hador. You may have heard of him. His name is Rabbi Dov Cook. You guys know about him? He's a Rav in Tiberia. If you need a bracha for something, go to him. He's an unbelievable tzaddik. Lives in Tiberia. He goes into all of the. There's a lot of gambling that goes on, unfortunately, in Tiberia, and he goes right into all those smoky gambling houses and like gets them all to say Kaddish and daven. Brings people. He's an unbelievable tzaddik. He's a great grandson of Rav Avram Yitzchak Cohen Cook. That's all. And his father, who was the chief rabbi of I forgot which town, Bat Yam maybe, used to take him when he was a boy to Shlomo Carlebach concerts all the time. And he, Rav Dov Cook, he davens in a Sephardi shul. He's a major Kabbalist, one of the top Kabbalists of the generation. He's mamash one of the Gedolei Hador. And every Friday night when he says Kaddish, he does it. He goes, Yizgada veitkada shemeh.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing? Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Di da 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 da. Da 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 da. Di da di da. Di da da da. It's an unbelievable thing. I just heard this on Shabbos. A friend of mine is one of these people who knows everything, almost everything. Okay, so Per Chavdalid, this is mamash related, I think, a little bit to that song because I am my prayer. David HaMelech says, "Va'ani tfilati." I am my prayer. When we could get to such a place, a little bit to be our prayer is. It's so deep, and you're touching something. The key word of this parak, to my mind, is the word Seder. We're not going to get to it until way towards the end of the shir. But the word Seder, it's a very, very incredibly profound thing. As it means order. Maharal is going to talk about the order of the universe being human. That the trouble with us is, in a certain way, it's like we're programmed by, Hashem did this, like he put in the Yetzer Hara and everything. We're programmed to think that human beings are messy, and there's a great perfection order out there. Maybe the angels have it, maybe robots have it, computers have it. People who are managed to deaden all of their emotions, like a Mr. Spock kind of person has it, Vulcans have it. But mamish, the deepest Seder in the world is that Hashem wants us, with our messy lives and all our mistakes, and the Torah, which is the blueprint, mamish, the blueprint of the universe, we're going to learn about here, is dafka meant for human beings. That's the true Seder. And when we can get to that place, v'ani tfilati, we're going to see that all of creation, mamish, is so happy that there's someone who wants to keep the Torah, that there's somebody really making Shabbos, that there's somebody talking about chesed and emunah. Everything just wants to be a part of that. As we're going to see, like at first it feels like, no, like I'm the odd one out, and the world is this, perfection, and I am just an anomaly. It's a wild thing, like I studied humanistic studies in college. It's a major theme in the Western kind of thought of, are human beings part of nature, not part of nature? Do we fit in? Who are we? Like it's a very the French call it je ne sais quoi. There's a very stick out feeling of like, what is this human thing? And the depths of the depths is that we know it. We know it in our neshama. That the depths of the depths really is that who we are is the deeper Seder. The real Seder is the perseverance and the awesomeness of the human being doing their best and making it through this world. Everything is really just there as a backdrop to that, and not the opposite. Not that we're supposed to become this like clockwork, predictable, thing. So he says, "Yesh lishol haTorah she'seichel hapashut ha'elyon." The Torah, which is, and last week we learned about pashut. The Torah, which is this totally uncomplicated unity of supernal consciousness. How could the Torah, which is so exalted, relate to the human being who is physical? This is something that a person can wonder about. That why doesn't it just stay in heaven? And this is a more famous Gemara you may have heard, but here he speaks at the entire Gemara, and it's really great to see it. Utshuva Zemru Perk Rabbi Akiva and Shabbos Daf Pechet Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. The Sha'ah Sha'ala Moshe LaMarom, the hour, the time when Moshe went up to the Marom, to the high place on Mount Sinai. Amar HaMalachim Ma'al Yelodi Shabenenu. What is this human, son of a woman, like a fleshly being, doing here? Amar Lahem L'Kabel Torah. There was an answer that doesn't say who said it. He came to get the Torah. Amru lo. Chemda Gnuza. Oh, he's talking to Hashem. Chemda Gnuza yesh lecha. Shegnuza kodem sheishis mei breshis. This beloved hidden thing that is hidden away from before the 6 days of creation, and 574 generations before. You're giving it to a human being. What is this human being that you should care for them and you should remember them? Put your majesty upon the heavens. Because that's a pasuk in Tehillim. Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu LaMoshe Chazor Lehem Tshuva. Hashem says to Moshe, give them an answer. Amar Lo Misyar Nishabo Yisufuni Be'avel Piyam. I'm worried that they're going to burn me with the fire of their mouths. Hold on to my throne of glory and give them an answer. There's a B'Tanchum said Hashem Shin Daled Yud sent out a ray of his divine presence, Miziv Shchinaso Va'anano, and of his cloud upon him. So Moshe Rabbeinu then says, speaking back to the angels, but he's sort of talking to Hashem in a way that the angels could hear. The Torah that you're giving me, what does it say? It says, I am the Lord your God who took you out from Egypt. He said to the angels, did you go to Egypt? The Pharaoh nishtabadatem, were you enslaved to Pharaoh? Torah lamalachem, what does the Torah have to do with you? Shuv maksiva, lo yech elokim achirim, should not have any other gods upon me. Bein akum atem shrim, are you involved with idol worshippers that serve strange worship? And it says, Zachar Yom Shabbos, Malacha Temosim, do you do work that you need Shabbos? And furthermore, Lotisa, Masomatan Yespinechem, that's interesting. Lotisa means, let's skip this one altogether. Shuv Maxi Bakavit is Avicha Vesimecha, Avaim, do you have a mother and father to honor? Lotirtzach, Lotiknov, don't steal, don't kill. Do you have any jealousy? Do you have any Yetzer Hara? Yetzer Hara Yespinechem? Miyad Hodu. So immediately the angels admitted, Shenema Hashem Adenu Madir Shimcha, and then it says, Asher Tnahodcha, doesn't say Asher Tnahodcha Shamayim, rather it says Asher I forgot the rest of the pasuk, that you give your majesty basically to the world, to people. Miyad kol echad nasalo ohev. So now immediately there's this big turnaround in Shemayim. Everyone loved Moshe, and each angel gave him a gift. Even the angel of death gave him a gift. He gave him, he taught him that the Ketores can save people from a plague, and that was used, that Aaron used that. Moshe gave it to him to use it to save people at the time of Korach. This Gemara is coming to teach us an answer to our question. For sure, Moshe had a heavenly aspect to him. Who was able to be an emtsa'i, bein ha'yonim v'atachtonim, to be this person who could be the middleman between the heavens and the earth. We learned last time, but the humility of Moshe, because he's so aware that it's not him, so he was able to be that bridge. By Moshe mis'al al yonim, he was able to get up to such a high place and to relate to the Torah in that heavenly way. But being that Moshe is also a human being, who was born as a human, somebody who's born to Lumar Bal Chomer. The Lodi Shah means somebody who's physical. And the angel said, "What are you doing here, the physical person?" The Chacham Rulo, Ve'eshiv lahem l'kabel Torah. I came to receive the Torah. Ve'ra'ui mitzad kabbalas Torah, and it makes sense from the perspective of receiving the Torah. You should be coming from this high place. The Azamru, this high beloved thing that's from before creation. What does that mean? She's Seichel Gamur, it's this total consciousness which is above nature. This is why Hashem set it up, and here's the first time the word Seder appears. In a order, the way Hashem ordered it is that the Torah would be there long, long before there would be a physical world. There would be a natural world. And the idea of exactly that many generations, he says, like he explains elsewhere. So the angel said, look, if it comes from such a high place, how could it be that it's meant to be given to a human being who's so far at the other end of the chain, is a physical being? Meaning to say that a human being has two aspects, a body and a soul, guf and nefesh. And they said, Manosh neged ha-nefesh. Who is this enosh? Even the nefesh of the person. And ben adam, the physicality of the person, from the word adama. And why should you remember them? Meaning, why should you care about them? Klomar afim yesh bo nefesh. Even if you have a nefesh, still that nefesh is not so chashuv, is not so important, the human soul, to be given such a great gift. And certainly, mitzad, the physicality of the body. Let your majesty be only upon the heavens. So say the angels. And they're speaking from their perspective. Because of where they're coming from. That's all they see, that's all they perceive. And anything that doesn't have that heavenly perfection, they can't see how it fits in. And Hashem says to Moshe, give them an answer. Because all of the things that are said here, Eino vikuach dvarim. He says, this is an important thing in Maharal. We saw this before when we were learning about Purim. He also said it in the Sefer Or Chadash, that not everything in the Midrash means that it exactly happened in a kind of literal sense. This conversation, so to speak, is not that there was really an argument going on. Rak masha mitchayev, what it means is just that which each being is speaking out its perspective. What makes sense for the angels is called as if they said it. And that which is Hashem's perspective is called that Hashem said it. And that which Moshe would say is said as if Moshe said it. But they're really just speaking out. The Torah, the Gemara is giving you a dynamic, and they're just dramatizing it. but it's really talking about like truths of perspectives. That the angelic perspective sees things this way, Hashem sees things this way, Moshe Rabbeinu sees things this way. With Nekim in a Seder, there's the Seder again. This Seder that Hashem set up, and it's Hashem who set it all up. Hakol bemet yisulak, bemet yisulak kol sheila sheyesh shalom. Any question can definitely be fully answered according to the divine perspective, right? Of the order and the way that He set up the world. Therefore, He set up the whole Seder, the whole order of all of existences and all beings. The Seder is Moshe, she kabbalah the Torah. He set up that there would be a Moshe who's going to receive the Torah, who is from the Tachtonim, from the lower worlds. So when Hashem explains and reveals that order, that itself is the answer to all questions. So He says, first He tells Moshe, you give them an answer to explain to them why the Torah doesn't belong just in heaven. And Moshe said, I'm worried they're going to burn me with the breath of their mouth. Hevel, the air is something that comes from the mouth. Because since they're coming from that place of ruach, of ruchniyut, so the breath that they have, their spiritualistic perspective, will have no room for a human being like me. And Shalem Ra'ui Kol Ma'ala, their worldview is that they should have everything. They're the supernal beings. Even though Moshe's perspective is the opposite, that the Torah should be with him in the lower worlds. But when you're talking about something that is beyond the physical, it's much more powerful and can nullify the physical. That's what Moshe meant. He said they might burn me up with the breath of their mouth. Compared to an angel, a human being is like considered as nothing. Now he gets in there. So now he starts explaining, what does this mean? Moshe was worried they're going to get burned. That means he's a nothing compared to them. How does this work? But the Torah is meant to be given to him. It says, this is why Hashem had to reveal to Moshe what it means, hold on to the throne of glory. Hashem had to reveal to Moshe his special place. This is an amazing thing, is that each one of us has a place. He's going to speak about this, that not only can Moshe answer all the angels, each one of us can answer all the angels to why the Torah should be given to us specifically. It says, because each person has a makom. God made it, and no matter how much we're going to share with each other, each person, we each have a private domain, a reshus hayachid, a space in creation that is called levish. I can become very, very close with someone, but they can't become. There's a space that's me. That's an amazing thing. And when we really can get to that place, like I said before, Vani Tfilati, we can really get there in our davening and the depths of it, we can really identify with that place, then we know that actually we really are at the pinnacle of creation. Mamish, an amazing thing. It's just, there's work to do to kind of access that place. Therefore, Hashem wanted Moshe to speak to them from the depths of the place of who he really is, of where he really fits into creation. That officially on the outside, a spiritual thing much more powerful could nullify a physical. But the human being is, when the human being is in touch with their root, with the space of who they really are, then Gewalt, Makom miyuchad, morel mala miyuchedet. A special place is about a very special height of existence. Because the word makom is always the word for something that is great. Nizkar shem makom al hamayla b'chol makom. And the word makom is a word for something very, very high. It says, therefore, Hashem says to Moshe, hold my throne. The human being does have a place that is special and is in fact above all the angels. As a Hashem's throne, Malachim sovavim kisei kvodo. The angels, whatever this means exactly, they go around the throne of glory, but they don't have access to the actual kisei. They serve Hashem, who is, so to speak, sitting on the throne. Again, all of this is just metaphorical. But a human being has a space, mamish, by the kisei itself, the closest possible thing you could have to Hashem. By Hashem, the word kisei is also from the word kesut, which means also clothing. The chasot, that in Hashem in clothes, it's the closest you could be. This description in the chariot, Yechezkel chapter 1. That's why on the very throne of Hashem itself, there is an image of a human being. And in that place, the human beings actually way above angels. Malachim only surround the kisei, and they're separate from Hashem. Adam was created in the image of Hashem. Is that something that Malachim don't have? They were not created in divine image. Only the human being, unique in all of creation, is created in the image of God. Yisrael Bifrat, Amrisal has a special role in this. And that level is above the angels. The kasher Adam, Balchomer, so the trouble is, we're born into a body, and so long as we're just drawn after the body, and then as a chomer mafsik beino ben akisei, it's hard to get in touch with it. Right? That's what I was saying before. When we daven, take 3 steps back, we step out of our normal consciousness and 3 steps forward into mamash, a whole different place. It's an amazing act because you're going back to the same place you were standing at the beginning. What is it? The 3 steps back and the 3 steps forward. But we respond to that. It does something to you when you take those 3 steps. You know you're going somewhere. You know you're going to a height. You know that there's a difference, that you're going to standing before Hashem, and that's really reality all the time. But that's right, we're like tuning in. Al Madregas Moshe, when Moshe was, you could just imagine, he was in the very height of what a human being could ever achieve. So he really, his physicality was totally not a barrier, and therefore he was able to, whatever that means exactly, hold on. Hashem says, hold on to my throne and answer the angels. He's able to mamish access it. Because he was able to be. That's why Moshe says, I'm worried they're going to burn me. Hashem says, don't worry, hold on to my kisei. Go to the depths of who you really are, and the angels are going to recognize you, and they won't be able to hurt you. Once he was in that mamish unique space named Moshe Rabbeinu, and where you can hold mamish Hashem's throne in that space of really being who you are, then you can answer to all the angels. Here's what he says it. Each one of us has this. Each one of us could do this. Each one of us is capable of this. It's an amazing thing. Everybody on their own level, etc. But each one of us can access the makom of who you really are, and answer up the whole world, all the angels, all the perfect spirits out there, and say, the Torah is meant to be given down here. And we and this is what it's like. It's all about. All about. What does it mean that Hashem sent out a ray of the Shekhinah and a cloud? What was that about? But to Lomar ki kasher yadavik v'adir gaso b'kisa kavod is mamish in that place of who he really is. Then there was the Ziv and the Anan, the ray, and the ray represents the soul. Sheshayich alav Ziv v'hod, that's a place of shining and majesty, like revelation, light. V'anan shaykh laguf, and the cloud that's connected to the body, which is like a cloud that can dissipate. And so this is the amazing thing, that it's not like Hashem said, oh, I'll show you how you're greater than them. Hold on to my kisei, and I'll show you how great your soul is. No, it was I'll show you how great your soul is and your body, and how amazing it is that you're a unity of the two, the light and the cloud. Mamish amazing. This is the greatness of the human being, above all the supernal beings. Now, even though the angels and all the upper beings, they have the spiritual level, but they don't get this kavod of Hashem like a human being. Only we who have both the Ziv and the Anan. Mamish an amazing thing. Mamish an amazing thing. Klal hadavar, ki adam kli muchan lekabel kavod Hashem. We really are, and this is mamish our tshuva and elul. We really are a vessel to receive the very honor of Hashem, to mamish reflect the majesty, the exquisiteness, the grandeur, the greatness of Hashem in the world. We each have it. Mamish, it's incredible. And when Moshe was really connecting to the very depth of his own makom, when he's really, when he's really in that place, I am my prayer, just being at one with the depths of who I really am, then there's no other way. Automatically, there's going to be the shine and the cloud. There's going to be this amazing thing of what a human being is. It's like amazing, like, I don't know about you guys, but when sometimes in the sky you see a sunbeam coming through a cloud, it's like something even much more gorgeous and awesome than it's just a blue sky with a nice sun. There's something much more amazing when there's like the cloud is like lighting up, there's rays going through. That's the beauty of a human being. That's what you can think about that every time you see it now. That's what the Hashem shine unto Moshe, not just light, cloud also, the body also. It's the most amazing thing. That he was receiving from that divine, from a God himself, that that's Hashem's plan, that there should be a soul and a body. This is how it should be. This itself was a cause. This is what gave him the confidence and the good energy to be able to receive the Torah. But as Amar Lahem, then Moshe said, answer them. The Torah you're giving, it says, I'm Lord your God who took you out from Egypt, and so on, as we saw. The angels, they can understand that there is such a thing as a Seder, but they need, so to speak, to like learn still. But this Seder is specifically, shayach means like, not just related to, but like owned by. It's like the central point of the Seder is the human being. Ki haTorah with all of its greatness, having been created before there was a world, hi reuya el ha'adam dafka. It was mamish, like we say in Lachadori, soif maise b'machshava tchila. That means me with all my mishagas. Right now, the sof maisa, that was in the very thought of the beginning of the great, everything, that there should be a Torah, that we should be able to get together, learn Maharal and everything. It's amazing. Does this make sense? That the order of the human being, and the brushing their teeth and whatever it is, and cleaning lice from their kids' hair or whatever they're doing, all the meshugana things that go on, that was there from before creation. It is because the human being was created the very image of God. In this way, we really are. It's like we have to constantly be reminded of this and tune into this. We really are the very height of the height. And the mitzvahs, we see this, that the mitzvahs of the Torah, the 248 that are connected to the 248 limbs of the image of the human being. The Fichach Moshe Amar Maksi Batorah, she was saying to them, going through the Torah, Ki Haseder Shel HaTorah, he was explaining to the angels the only way for the Torah to be revealed in its fullness is for it to relate all the way to the very end of creation, to the human being. Torah Sidra Lefi Enoshit Shelo. The Torah is set up according to the humanness of the person. Mamish is incredible. It's we ourselves have this. I have it. It's possible within the religious world that you try to be like this perfect religious person who davens, gets up, that says everything right, never says the wrong word, whatever it is. You try to be. Unfortunately, the Yetzer Hara can come in, wearing a kippah and looking very religious, and telling you that you should be cookie cutter, perfect person. Everybody should be the same. Chas v'shalom. But the Torah sudra lefi enoshit shelo. The Torah is exactly set up in order to bring out the beauty of the human being, not to box them in and turn them into a robot, chas v'shalom, or make them wish they could be an angel. Hashem's great wisdom is that the image of God, the human being, is meant to be housed within a physical body with all the stuff and everything that entails. Unbelievable thing. The Torah with all of its supernal greatness. It totally depends and completely stands upon physical things, which are the mitzvahs that are action mitzvahs, and that relate to a world, to slavery, to and being redeemed, and everything that we saw, having parents, and so on. Having a Yetzer Hara, and just like the angels don't have this tzel v'aloki that the human being had, they don't have this image of God. Because this divine image needs something that carries it. It's mamash an incredible thing. V'hu guf ha'adam. That is the human body. Shehu nosei latzelim hazeh. The human body is that which carries and holds and houses this image of Hashem. V'malachim she'inam nosei makabel. Rak ha'adam she'yesh lo baguf. The angels are totally spiritual, but they don't have that vessel. They don't have that body that can hold it. The Torah itself also, with all of its greatness, also needs something to carry it. No say gashmi, it needs to be carried by a human being. Mitzvahs can be, they do have a depth of spiritual understanding of consciousness, but they don't have anywhere to stand. In order for them to really become real. This is the amazing thing of being in the physical world. We were learning this morning in Kollel about Lo Aleinu, when you bury someone, to bury them in a talus, and it says, if you're wrapping them in a 4-cornered garment, you have to put tzitzis on it, because otherwise the dead person is going to feel that they're being made fun of, that they wish they could do one more physical mitzvah, and now they can't. And so to bury them in a talus with tzitzis on it, or at least to wrap them in it, to bury them in it, mamish, but is something to do to help them still feel connected to the world of physical mitzvahs, because that's the big pain. The only pain, but that's one of the, like, it's, top of the list when a person dies and they realize after the fact how valuable the physical mitzvahs were, and now they can't do it. Now they're just a spiritual being, and now they can't have that effect on the world anymore. It's very, very painful for the soul, and that's why we tuck our tzitzis in when we go into a cemetery, so as not to make them feel bad that they can't do mitzvahs anymore. It's incredible. So we need to, word to the wise, Baruch Hashem, it's Elul. We need to be aware and the value that we every few seconds that we could learn Torah, that we could say a nice word to someone, that we could do chesed, that we could daven. Rabbi Nachman once said, if they would bring back one person from the dead and tell them you could do one more Shemon Esrei, that they would teach all of us how to really daven. Because like we take it for granted. Oh, it's another it's mincha, whatever, just another davening. But like Gewalt, after we only have so much time in this world, and then it's like over. Not the same anymore. There's something incredible. There's something there's the crowning glory to the whole Torah, to the soul, to the divine image, to the very order, the Seder of all creation, to have a mitzvah being done in this physical world. It's like it's amazing. It's really an amazing thing. It's a huge turnaround. Instead of seeing the world as just a barrier to godliness, this is like the mitzvah opportunity, is being here, just being and being able to do stuff here. And he says, Davar zeh odit ba'er. We're going to learn more about this in future chapters. Davar amok me'od. It's a very deep, deep thing. How much the Torah, how much our soul needs physical expression in order to grow, in order to be expressed, in order to move things, move creation, and move each of us towards the great fixing. Hashem says to Moshe, give them an answer. Moshe is the one who can give the answer. He is the human being. And when they're able to really hear it, Moshe was the most humble, so he was the most able to say it. And when they heard it, they got it. And there was a huge turnaround. Suddenly he became the most beloved. All of Shemayim was like, they all want to give him gifts. Moshe. He was like showing them. They suddenly realized, oh my gosh, yes, all of creation is for the human beings, and we want you to be the best conduit and bring the Torah down, and we want to shower you with blessings because we want to be part of it. This is the divine Seder, mamish. Okay, I'm gonna have to end the shir within 5 minutes, because I have a timer on this. I'm sorry about this. Each one sent him a gift. That's a sign of them being connected. When you're connected to someone, you're receiving from them. Mamash, an awesome thing. When you're really connected to someone, you're getting from all kinds of energies and goodness. That's when they realized who Moshe is. That's a gift. That because it's connected to, automatically they get gifts. And the middleman, he was the conduit, and was able to connect up all the spiritual. Suddenly, all the malachim are on his team, and they want to be. They realize we're all one big team, and the human being is the crowning glory. And even the angel of death, who is against reality, who's bringing about death, Lo haya misnag al madregas Moshe. Even he wasn't against Moshe, because everything is everything is connected to that awareness of the real Seder of creation, that is not as we would first think, and as the angels at first thought. It's not about this perfect angelic truth. The real order of creation is for the human being with all of our meshagas and all of our insanities. And as soon as that, Moshe was able to answer them by being himself so deeply, by holding on to the Kisei Kavod, the ray of light from Hashem representing his nefesh, and the cloud from Hashem representing the body, and how he was able to just show them there's no touchdown, the football, there's no touchdown of all of reality until things become physical, until there's a body that can do the mitzvahs, until the Torah becomes brought into this world, and how precious the physical world is. Suddenly all the angels want to give gifts, even the angel of death gives a gift. We all want to be part of this. And the Torah is the very Seder of all. That Hashem looked into the Torah and created. And so, each one gave of their special powers. Well, each angel gave to Moshe something special, because they became connected. Like any two things that are connected to each other, they're going to be giving to each other. And everything, the angel of death is himself part of the very order of creation. The Torah itself mandates that there be an angel of death. He's also part of the story. So therefore, he's also giving a gift to Moshe. Everything becomes part of this. Adam. Excuse me. So, in summary, we said, "Vanit filati l'chashem." So we can really be our prayer. The Maharal said, each one of us has the power to get to that depth of the place, of that amazing gift that we each have of the privacy of our own self. Hashem gave us a space in creation that is called Levish, and each one of us we're each ourselves. Incredible. We can really go there, especially through davening. Each of us has a power to answer all the angels and explain why the Torah needs to be given here. Each of us knows in the deepest depths, when we can really be our prayer, that the Torah is not meant for perfection, for this heavenly antiseptic perfect thing. The Torah is very specifically meant exactly for this world, to touch down here through the mitzvahs that we can do. Yetz Hashem, so we should be blessed to do Gevaldik Tshuva and to keep on trying a million times and just keep on trying forever and have Gevaldik perseverance and get great, great strength from this story, from Moshe Rabbeinu, from Maharal, Mavet Tzadikim. All right, Chaim, thank you so much for coming. Any questions or thoughts? Thank you so much for coming. Okay. Yes, Leitra, Toby, amazing.
I do have a question if you have a second.
Yeah, I hope it might cut out enough, but go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. When Rosh Hashanah occurs, isn't it the creation of humanity? The first of Tishrei? Yes, because creation is the 25th of Elul, and the first of Tishrei is the 6th day. Right. So that's Gevaldik. So it fits in very beautifully. That right. The real start of creation is the touchdown, is the Gevaldik. Amazing. And then I was just wondering, like when we say Hamakom Yinachem to somebody, I wonder if that it could, like on a deeper level, mean like may you find your place right next to Hashem, your Makom with Hashem. You froze, so I'll email it to you.